up, and welcome to the Beneath the Dirt podcast. I'm your host, Ron Bone. Thank you for tuning in. Episode 111 up in here. 111 going strong. End of November. Year is damn near over in this motherfucker. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, if you are a returning listener, much love. If you're a brand new listener, much love. If you're a last time listener, peace. But we ain't got much to talk about this week. We got a bunch of questions in the Ask Roan segment that I didn't get to last week, only because they were submitted after the show was recorded, so I couldn't get to it. And some I just straight up forgot about from probably the week prior. And ones I may have just ignored because I didn't want to fucking answer it. But we'll answer it this week. We'll discuss it. Let's get into it with new music, new news. Lex the Hexmaster, Been Busy 2020, dropped the Party Castle EP, then the Haunted Mansion. We're still waiting for the last two parts of this 4-part EP series that he's doing. But up next, we're getting a single from him. No release date as of yet. When we're getting this single, the real one from Lex. I'm looking forward to it. I've been fucking with Lex since his first album, Contact. Wasn't a big fan of the Haunted Mansion EP that he dropped this year, but the Party Castle EP was fucking fire. Really dope. Always looking forward to new Lex. Lex is that dude. One of the underrated dudes on Magic Ninja, if you ask me, and just in the underground in general. He be killing it. That raw New York sound, style flows, if you will. And we're just going to keep it with M&E related shit. I saw this posted up on Facebook, Billy Obey's Facebook to be specific. Actually, no. Well, it is from his Facebook account, but it was in the Forever Face Alley Facebook group. Someone posted about the Knox album. If you don't know Knox, now known as Lee Carver, did put out a solo album before joining A La Zuliloo. And someone posted about the album where you could buy it. I think something like that. The album's called Massacre Mask. It's up on all streaming, Apple Music, Spotify, if you ain't heard it. But someone asked about the CDs, and Billy Obey says, ready for the re-release. They did have hard copies up for sale on the Long Live Evil web store, the A La Zuliloo web store. I slept on it, didn't manage to get a copy of it. But I'm hyped for a re-release of it. Definitely going to cop the hard copy. Lee Carver's that fucking dude. If you haven't heard Massacre Mask, it's pretty good. I think I bumped it a couple times. I'm not super familiar with the album, but it definitely sounds dope. I've heard it. Cover art is fresh. Definitely going to cop that re-release if and when it does happen. But according to Billy Obey, the re-release is going down. Something to look forward to. And speaking of A La Zuliloo, as I was doing the pre-production of this show, they put up pre-orders for the A La Zuliloo Christmas mask. Holiday themed, we'll call it. Green and red, like they've done before with the 2.0. I don't think they did it with the first version of the mask. But it's limited to 60. These dudes be pumping out merch like fucking madmen. They had the Zool balls. They got the Jason Forever Faces. Friday the 13th Forever Faces. And I think this is the first variant. No, second variant of the 2.1. The first one being the Mausoleum variant. And now we got the Axmas variant. So it's probably going to be sold out by the time this podcast goes live. So you probably missed out. Pay attention. If you're looking for a Forever Face, them shits go quick. And this is a limited run of 60. I'm going to check when I'm done recording the show. And I bet all those masks will be sold out. My fucking throat hurts. So excuse me for my fucking shit just cutting in and out. but I don't know what the fuck's going on. Knox re-released the Massacre Mask album. Lee Carver's solo album before Ala Zulilu's coming soon. Those Axmas variants masks live now, probably sold out by the time I'm done recording this. And then keeping it with Magic Ninja, we got the pre-orders are live for Boondox's Crimson Crow up on the Magic Ninja store. The cover art looks pretty dope, black and white with the red lettering. You got a ill hoodie, t-shirt, hat. You got a skate deck you can get. I don't know if Boondox has done a skate deck before. And Boondox is hopping on this vinyl figure shit. Little Boondox action figure. You could cop that. All pre-orders for the Crimson Crow will come in an exclusive autographed collector's card. So there you go. They got all different kinds of bundles. New Boondox dropping December 18th. And not only did we get the pre-orders for the Boondox album, but we got brand new Boondox single, Get It In. Boondox. Self-admittedly, I'm not the biggest Boondox fan. I peeped this track out pre-production of the show, as I usually do, trying to catch up with, singles that may have dropped during the week. So I peeped it before the show started, before I started recording, I should say. And this shit is hard as fuck. This shit is hard. This beat is super dope. Young Wicked's on here. I'm going to assume Young Wicked produced this one. I could be, I don't know. But the beat is stupid hard. The hook is dope. Boondox comes super correct on here. It's one of the best Boondox songs I ever heard. Straight the fuck up. This shit is dumb hard. Love it. I bumped it like 3 times. Just had that shit on repeat like 3 times back to back while I was prepping the show. And if you ain't heard this track, peep it. If you're a fan of Boondox already, I'm sure you like it. If you're like me, not the biggest fan, peep this shit. You probably will like it. It's just that hard southern shit. The beat is super bass heavy. Can't wait to bump this one in the whip. Definitely going to bump it on the way to work tomorrow. Peep the new Boondox. Get it in. Up on all streaming platforms. Apple Music, Spotify. All that shit. And then to wrap it up with the Magic Ninja news. This is something I haven't covered. But the series is over. Twiztid and Knotfest. Twiztid is pushing this rock shit super hard, trying to get into this rock crowd super fucking hard. Spending them fucking, what do you call it? Promoting dollars, advertising dollars. I don't fucking know. But they managed to get up on the Knotfest YouTube page. And they did a breakdown of their entire discography in 3 parts, I believe. This is the last part that you're seeing this image of. The Darkness, Life Question Marks, Generation Nightmare, and Mad Season, the last album that dropped. And this is a really fun watch/listen. I watched all 3 parts. Really dope. It seems like the dude that is doing this disc, they call it the disc dive on the Knotfest YouTube channel. And the dude that's on there seems pretty educated on Twiztid. I don't know if he went to the Wikipedia or whatever, did a quick brush through, but dude seems pretty educated. Twiztid were pretty excited to be on the show and talk about their entire discography. Really dope. Listen and watch. If you haven't peeped it, I recommend you peep it. Twiztid is pushing this rock shit super heavy up on the Knotfest channel. If you don't know Knotfest, Knotfest is the festival ran by Slipknot. Probably one of the biggest rock/metal groups out there right now. I feel like rock and metal in general is like, it's not what it was like back in the 90s. But Twiztid's pushing the rock shit hard. Go peep that disc dive. Super fucking fresh if you ain't peeped it out yet. More news from the underground. Saint Dogs account. Whoever's running his account, I'm going to assume a manager or a family member running his account. They be posting up on the Saint Dog Instagram page, and there was a comment on there. The Saint Dog story isn't over. A lot of unreleased music, pictures, and video waiting in the archives. Super dope. I know this dude's got unreleased music for sure. Pics and video. I'd like to see some kind of documentary on Saint Dog. That would be super fresh. Maybe package it together with an album of unreleased songs. You know, that would be super dope. Rest in peace to the OG King Saint Dog. D-Lo Cottonmouth Kings. He's got his Legends Never Die tribute track to Saint Dog dropping soon. We talked about that last week. We talked about the OG demos from 96, 97 coming out. D-Lo says pre-order is going to be dropping for those soon. That's going to be dope. I'm super hyped for those demos. Definitely want some... I definitely want a documentary, and I'll take unreleased music with it. I always say unreleased music should stay unreleased, but if you're going to release it, maybe do it with some kind of documentary, DVD to go with it. You know, that's, you know, you got that Suburban Noise affiliation. He did put out Bozo through Suburban Noise and Force 5. So that'd be dope to see. Some kind of documentary, you know. They did a tribute video up on their social medias. I saw it up on YouTube as well. That shit was pulling at the heartstrings like crazy. Richter, Loke, Zinger. Big Hoss was on there. I believe we talked about that on this show. Really dope. It was difficult to watch, but it was really dope just hearing everybody pay tribute to Saint Dog. So that's going to be dope. Something to look forward to as well. Unreleased music, videos, and shit like that. Horrorcore fucking legend. I'd call him a legend. Even though dude only dropped, 3 official albums? Q Strange. I saw his hype man D-Rock up on Instagram post this. He says he's opening the Q Strange vaults, and we getting some new Q Strange music coming soon. We got this new single dropping this Friday, Under the Ground. Peep the artwork. You got a bunch of tombstones. You got the PLR logo on there, Necro's record label, the Necro logo. I see a Hatchet Man on the fucking tombstone, Strange Music, the old school Magic Records logo up on the tombstone. So it's be interesting to hear what the fuck this is going to be about when this track drops. But Under the Ground, new old Q Strange. We ain't heard Q Strange since he dropped Scumbag Superstar. It just celebrated an anniversary. I can't remember how many years ago, but like 9-10 years ago, some shit like that. It's been a minute since we heard new Q Strange, and his hype man D-Rock is opening the vaults for some unreleased Q Strange to come out. And then one of my favorite rappers in the underground, Slain. Hometown hero, if you will, coming out of Boston, Beantown. He's going to be dropping his new single, Revolver, this Wednesday. Today is the 1-year anniversary of his last album, One Day. Personally, my favorite Slain album that he's done. I love that album. Super dope. Definitely hyped to hear new Slain. I would love to hear new La Coca Nostra in 2021. Ill Bill stayed pretty busy in 2020, dropping Gorilla Twins and his album La Bella Medusa. So I'd like to see him team back up with Slain for new La Coca Nostra. But Slain says he's been busy recording new music all year, and Revolver is going to be this newest single dropping on Wednesday. Hyped for it. Slain is that dude. Fuck with him heavy. And yeah, that's it, folks. That's it for new music, new news. The only real new music that dropped this week was that new Boondox song. And a little bit of news. Slow as fuck year end, as to be expected. But we got the Ask Roan segment, right? You see the graphic right there. If you got a fucking question, or if you disagree with something I say on this show, let me know. I'll talk about it. I'll shout you out on the show. And yeah, if you got any questions, concerns, we going to talk about it. And let's start off with last week. I got to go search it through my profile real quick. I apologize. I should have been better prepared, but hey, we kicking it live in effect here on Beneath the Dirt podcast. Question from last week from Kilimanjaro on Twitter asks me, have you heard the Joker's new Juggalo song? As much as I don't care for the guy, I thought the song was fire. Your thoughts? I'm not a fan of the Joker. I don't listen to his music. So I haven't heard the song. I don't plan on listening to it. And that's pretty much my thoughts on that. Let's go to Instagram answering questions from last week. Can't remember if there was any on Instagram. I know there was a couple up on Facebook. All right, Instagram from last week. We got Jay Hambone up on Instagram. If you could build a super team record label of 10 acts, who would be on it? Hope this counts. This is one of the ones that was submitted after I recorded, all these ones I'm talking about right now, after I recorded. So it's counting this week, homie. And 10 acts, if I were to start a record label, shit. I'd go underground, right? I'd have to grab a couple established acts, right? Dudes that are already doing it on a certain label. I'd grab a la Zululu right off rip. I'd grab them. I'd grab Low Key. I'd grab Gruesome. That's 3. I'd grab Crossworm. That's 4. For sure, without a doubt. I'd grab... Who else would I grab? I'd grab... That's 4. Shit, we need 10? All right. Who else do I fuck with in the underground? I'd fucking try to sign a la Zululu, without a doubt. Oh, no, I already said that. I meant Suicide Boys. Suicide Boys, I'd try to get them. That's 5. I don't know. I don't know if I could think of 10. That's a good fucking question, though. And that's something I thought of before. Like, if I was a record exec, something like that, in the underground, who the fuck would I sign? Definitely Zool, Low Key, Gruesome, Crossworm, Suicide Boys. But they're already so fucking big. So I don't even know if I would even count them. But those 4 right there, you know what? Midwest Monsters. K-Dot and Dubs. If you've never heard of Midwest Monsters, they haven't put out an album in a long ass time. K-Dot and Dubs. I've talked about them on the show. I love Midwest Monsters. They're dope solo, but when they come together as a group, they're even fucking better. So make that my 5 right there. Zool, Low Key, Gruesome, Crossworm, Midwest Monsters. That's a fucking problem right there. I can't think of 10 off the top of my head right now, but 5 right there. Shout out to Jay Hambone for that question. That was dope. Let's go to The Art of Mishap on Instagram. Other than Psychopathic or Magic Ninja, who do you think is the biggest label in the horrorcore juggalo scene? In the horrorcore juggalo scene, probably LSP, Lyrical Snuff Productions. I think that's the only one I could really think of. I mean, who else is doing it besides Psychopathic, Magic Ninja, LSP? I mean, if you could let me know who you think is the biggest act doing it in the wicked shit horrorcore scene. I think that's pretty much it right there. LSP. That's all I can fucking think of. Let's go to Paul Bunyan 21 on Instagram. Biggest album letdown and biggest surprise dope album this year so far. All right. Biggest letdown was Benny the Butcher's The Burden of Proof. I was super disappointed by that. I got actually, it's a tie for first place. Benny the Butcher's Burden for Proof and a la Zululu's Mausoleum. Tied for first place for biggest disappointment. That's for me. Both those albums get a lot of love. I see it everywhere. But for me, big disappointment. Best surprise album of 2020. Let's see, I'm looking at my top albums of 2020 list right now. And I'm going to have to say probably King Iso's World War Me. And that's a top 5 album for me, I think, this year. That album is fucking amazing. And I've liked King Iso. I thought his last album was really dope. The one he put out before Strange. I can't remember the fucking name off the top of my head, but World War Me from King Iso this year. Holy shit, that album is amazing. Super dope album. Another surprise album for me, probably be Flea Lord. Just in general, Flea Lord, the music he's been putting out. But the album, The People's Champ, the EP, whatever you want to call it, produced by Pete Rock, fucking fire. If you ain't peeped that, go check that. So since I named 2 disappointments, I'll name 2 surprises. For me, Flea Lord's The People's Champ was fucking amazing, as was King Iso's World War Me. Super dope. And let's get into the last one. From last week on Instagram, Catacombs says, I want you to do top 5 best Twiztid, top 5 best and worst ICP songs, and Twiztid 2. I can't do that right now. I don't have a list put together. But I do have plans on doing like top 10 or top 20 favorite songs from some of my favorite groups. ICP, Twiztid, Cottonmouth Kings, Tech Nine, Suicide Boys. I actually did top 5. I actually did a top 10 Twiztid with Mike Sears, the homie Mike Sears. I don't know if I still have the list on my phone, but if you want to know now that I think of it, if you want to know my top 5 Twiztid songs, go over to the Speaky Clout podcast YouTube channel. And I was joined with, Mike Sears, Mike Sears, the homie, had me on with the Joker's Gallery, and we did our top 10 Twiztid songs, and that was super fun. Twiztid, one of my all-time favorite groups. So I won't be doing a top 10 Twiztid songs on my own because I already did it with the homie Speaky Clout, Mike Sears, over there on the Speaky Clout channel. I'm all fucked up right now. So let's head over to Facebook and get over to that post for last week on the Ask Roan segment. I got to scroll down. But these are some fucking good questions. And I want this segment to like blow up to be even more to where I have no choice. But to not be able to answer every question, because this is dope. This is shit that I wouldn't think of on my own necessarily. So let's get into the Facebook questions from last week. We answered that one about my CD collection. Speaker Box below answered that one. All right, Richard Smooth on Facebook. He writes, "Are juggalos to blame for Twiztid doing less of the wicked shit these days? Is all the shit talking and drama forcing them out, forcing them to reach out to different avenues just to be heard?" No, I don't feel like juggalos are to blame for Twiztid doing less of the wicked shit. And I don't think the shit talking is either. I think juggalos as a whole isn't as big as it was. In order to grow the juggalo crowd, we've talked about this before. In order to grow the juggalo crowd, you got to reach out into other audiences and bring motherfuckers in. And that's what Twiztid's been trying to do. And people are giving them shit for it, saying they're sellouts, whatever. But no, I don't think juggalos are to blame for Twiztid doing less wicked shit. I think Twiztid's just keeping it real to themselves. And they still do wicked shit on occasion. So no, they're not to be blamed. I think the dwindling juggalo crowd can be blamed for that. Just is what it is. The crowd, the juggalo fan base isn't as big as it once was. Is what it is. Let's go back to Twitter for today's questions, concerns, and whatnot. Kilimanjaro, once again, this dude submits something every week. You mentioned once not wanting to interview artists. Why not? It's just something I don't want to do right now. It is something I want to do at some point. But I just want to be comfortable with myself enough on the mic, on camera, to where I will do interviews with artists. It's just something I don't want to do right now. It's no hate to any artists. It'd be dope to have people on the show, but I like rocking the shit dolo, and I like talking my shit. I'm not afraid of not being able to conduct a good interview. I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough on a lot of acts in the underground or just in general, to people that I would have on the show, that I could conduct a fucking good interview. So shout out to Kilimanjaro, always sending in questions for the Ask Grown segment. Let's go to Bedlam85 on Twitter. Any chance you know what Light is up to now that it was officially announced he isn't on Psychopathic? Your guess is just as good as mine, homie. I have no idea where the fuck Light is. I know he had a kid recently, and I think he's just being a dad right now. Just living life being a dad, and probably, just not worried about the music. It just seems like he hasn't been worried about the music since he dropped that EP. Will Broke But Still Shining ever drop? I saw Kung Fu Vampire say he just did a verse for him like earlier this year. So it's still definitely in the works. It's been a year since we were supposed to get a pre-order. I think last Christmas we were supposed to get a pre-order and a release date and all that. But your question is as good as mine. I have no idea, man. But thank you for the question. Let's go to Mind Bomb Music on Twitter. He has 2 questions. He's cheating. First question, what's your opinion on rappers using established beats on their demo tape? On their demo tape, not a good look. If you're sending it to record labels, not a good look. You're going to want original music on your demo tape. If you're doing a mixtape and just releasing it to the masses, go for it. I don't mind people rapping over other people's shit. People been doing that forever. Mixtape shit, I'm a huge fan of mixtape stuff. So if you're doing it on a demo tape, sending it to labels and trying to get noticed, don't do it. They'll turn it off pretty much right away, if I had to guess. Question number 2, have you heard anything from the up-and-coming collab tape from Force 5 Records? It is fucking fire. I have not. I think they just dropped the Ruckus 2 mixtape today. I saw something about it earlier. I guess I could have grabbed a fucking graphic for it and talked about it on the show, but Here I am talking about it now. The Force 5 Records Ruckus Tape Part 2 is out now, and it does feature an unreleased Saint Dog song from the Bozo sessions. So that's super dope. Definitely going to peep that shit. That Saint Dog solo track at some point. Let's head over to Instagram from Devo Coleman. Have you listened to all of the new Red album? If so, what did you think? I dig it. The last two Red albums have a positive vibe and put me in a good mood. I have not listened to Red, his new album. Haven't heard anything I liked from him. So I haven't peeped the album. I don't know if I will or not. But no, I haven't listened to it. I have seen people give it some love, though. So that's dope. Dope to see him get some love. And let's go to Facebook, see if anything from today on Facebook. Here we go. We got a couple questions. First one from Richard Smooth again. Why is it so difficult these days for underground artists to break into the Juggalo scene? Plenty of talent out there. He names a few people. All these dudes make dope music. It's wicked shit. It seems like the last 10 years, Juggalos don't seek out and support solid underground music in the scene. Think it's a side effect of the split. Since dudes want to push the no new ninjas narrative. Is that mentality good or bad for the Juggalos? All right. It's always been difficult for artists to break into the Juggalo scene. Juggalos are not accepting of new artists. It's been like that since day one of me being a Juggalo. Twiztid came in. Twiztid got a lot of shit. I remember ABK got a lot of shit. AMB got a lot of shit. But I feel like Juggalos have always not been super accepting of new up-and-coming wicked shit in the scene. But at the same time, I think these days they actually have been a little more accepting. You got acts like A La Zuliloo. Seems like a lot of people are gravitating towards A La Zuliloo. And then you got Ouija Mac. Again, a lot of people are hopping on that Ouija Mac train. Zool train. Like it or not, them two dudes are the future and faces of the future of the wicked shit. Whatever. Love him or hate him. I know a lot of people don't like Axe. I know a lot of people don't like Ouija, but I don't think they're going anywhere. Both their grinds, these two dudes, or groups, Axe, whatever. We'll call them Axe. Ouija and Zool. These two grind so fucking hard, put out so much dope merch. And it's like dope merch too. The designs, you know, the quality of music. The way they grind is very reminiscent of how ICP and Twiztid came up. They ain't going anywhere. So yeah, Juggalos aren't super accepting of up-and-comers in the wicked shit. But the flip coin to that, I would say now more than ever, people are more accepting of it. Because, Twiztid and ICP ain't going to be here forever. I don't want to see an 80-year-old Madrox and a fucking 80-year-old Violent J on stage. I don't want to see it. It'll be sad if it comes down to that. And I don't want to see that. Do I think is it a side effect of the split? No. Just Juggalos were never accepting, but again, I feel like they are more accepting now than ever. No new ninjas. I think that shit's hilarious. No new ninjas. That shit's funny though. I can't front. Is that good or bad for the Juggalo scene as a whole? The only way the Juggalo scene will thrive after ICP, after Twiztid, is if you accept these new groups. Zool, Ouija, LSP, Low Key, and every other horrorcore wicked shit act out there doing something like that. And we got one more on Facebook from Greg Doobie. I apologize if it's not Doobie, but we call you Doobie. What underground supergroup would you form? Like which 5 artists never made an album together would you love to hear? Underground supergroup. All right, so we had earlier 5 artists that I would sign to a label. Now I'm forming a supergroup. All right, right now, going by people that are active right now and killing it right now. Number 1, I want Monoxide in that bitch in my group. I want Low Key in there. I want Gruesome in there. We just naming artists. I want Billy Obey in there. And I want, as the 5th, let's throw Ouija Mac in there. Monoxide, Low Key, Gruesome, Billy Obey, and Ouija Mac. That sounds like it should not fucking work at all. And it might not. But those 5 dudes, Low Key, all been a favorite. His new album dropping soon. I was bumping The Blood of Izu. It's actually pronounced Izu. I've been fucking that one up. Gruesome has always been mad underrated. One of my favorites in the scene. But yeah, Monoxide's fucking murderous right now. Ouija's fucking killing it. Billy Obey, Ben, my favorite from Zool. His voice is super dope. That is the most fucking weird lineup probably I could come up with. But those are the dudes that I fuck with super heavy right now. And I'd like to see. I'm going to like your comment right now. So yeah. Dope questions in this Ask Roan segment. I really dig this shit. And I appreciate everybody that submits questions. It's going to be another short podcast. We wrapping it up right now, but if you see that post and you got a question, you want that shit answered, you want to know my thoughts on a certain artist, song, album, whatever, reply to the post. I post them every week. Before I record the show, I let it sit for a few hours before I record so we can get some replies. And I apologize for the short show again this week. But it's the end of year. News is slow. Music is coming. And I appreciate everybody that's tuned the fuck in right now. I'm Roan Bone of the Beneath the Dirt podcast. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.